Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And today we are going to get into another social topic. So in this one here, we are discussing the fact that nowadays, um, in modern society, women are in need or desire of having emotional support. But in truth, the role of the woman in the household was always to supply emotional support to the family, and not be emotional. And so we're going to dive into this here. So, first off, just to start, we understand that women are generally more emotional than men. But at the same time, back in the days, I would say, and I could be wrong, comment down below if you think otherwise. I felt that, women in the household, think back to your grandma and stuff like that, were actually very um, emotionally intelligent, which is funny because now that word, which is very thrown around all the time now, you'll see a lot of people use it as a way of saying, I want you to be emotionally intelligent so you can um, handle my chaotic behavior. It's almost like a way of it's a negative term when you think about it in today's context, because it's saying you need to be able to handle, you need to be emotionally smart and emotionally strong to handle my nonsense that I'm going to put on you. And if not, you're not very emotionally intelligent. And that's kind of the context of the way the word is used nowadays. Though that word was never used much back in the days, or not that I've ever heard it before, but I will say the definition of it was applied back in the days very heavily. And most of the time, it was the opposite to what it is now, where a lot of times you have women who will use that to say, I want a man who's emotionally intelligent. But back in the days, by that same definition being applied in real world, you usually had the women who were the ones who were very emotionally intelligent. And in that context, they would have to be an emotional support system for everybody in the house. And that was one of their primary duties. So for the man, but obviously for the children. Now, we see most modern women today as mothers still demonstrate this for the children. The problem is that the men get excluded from the need of that emotional support, which the truth is the dynamic of a household. You're supposed to include the man in that benefit. So the same way that a man, his duty is to protect and provide for the household once they become, a family unit and you have kids and whatnot, you live together. He doesn't apply that just to the kids to provide them financially and protect them and exclude the wife. He protects the wife and supports her financially as well. I just want to sidebar, financially support does not mean I'm buying you handbags, I'm buying you gifts, I'm buying you jewelry. It simply means that if the woman is not capable of working, especially in this modern society where now the woman usually works as well, but if she wasn't capable of working for whatever reason, or she was stressed from work, which is fine, or whatever the case is, and she feels overloaded, she would be able to pull back and say, you know what, I'm just going to take care of the in-home house duties, like taking care of the kids, blah, blah, cleaning, blah, blah. I'm too stressed to work. And the man would be able to be that support net that says, financially, I got you. You can't handle it right now. You got to take a year off work. I got you. That's part of the man's role when you say financially support a woman. Um, but I will support the household, everyone in the household. Obviously, little kids aren't going to be working. But the point is that that support goes, financial support goes to the wife and it goes to the kids. The emotional support that a woman is supposed to provide, which does go to the kids, is supposed to also go to the man. The man is having a hard time in that outside world and he can't take it, and it's a lot for him to handle. While the woman can say, you know what, to her man, I need to take a year off work. And most men will say, you know what, like, if assuming that they're able to handle it, because some people's situation is not like that. But let's just say, generally speaking, in the most positive context, the man would be able to say, you know what, you got to take a year off work. You can't handle, you're stressed out. I got it, no problem. The woman, because the man cannot do that, he cannot take a year off work because he is the financial supporter. The woman, generally the wife, would say, you're coming home with all the stress from work. I'm going to emotionally support you. What do you need? You need a back rub. You need positive talking. You need reinforcement. You need me to tell you that everything's going to be okay. You need me to tell you that you're doing great. You need me to tell you that, everything you do doesn't go in vain. The family appreciates it. All that kind of, emotional encouragement through verbal, through physical, through all of that, just to get that person going the same way they would with their children as well. Because like I said, a female is the emotional support for the household. So when the children are like, I had a bad day, mom, at school, somebody's bullying me, this and that, they'll tell them, okay, like, or whatever the case is, I failed a test. I didn't do good at gym class. They will tell them, oh, don't worry, you're going to do better next time. You're still great. You're perfect. You're a wonderful child. But all that kind of stuff that they tell them. And my point to that is so that emotional support is supposed to be for everyone in the household. So just an interesting concept for us to kind of, take a look at under the microscope, the fact that we're now in a time where that role that is supposed to be beneficial to everyone in the household from the wife, uh, as far as being the emotional support for everybody, has now turned into a person who is wanting emotional support from everybody in the household, specifically the man. And that becomes a issue because that role that they play is so important for the household. And when you remove that, you're missing a critical component in the household, along with a dysfunctional and very unhealthy household dynamic. Because now you have the man who is now sort of providing emotional support for everybody in the household, along with financial support and protection. And the reason why that is a problem, besides for being an overload on the man, is because generally speaking, that was supposed to be something that women are better at naturally. And the reason why they're better at that naturally is because women have always been nurturers, so they were always the ones who naturally were good at that when it came to, like, say, the kids and everyone else, and obviously grandmas, we all know grandmas were emotionally supporting everybody at that point because they had everyone beneath them. And, they'd have those Sunday night dinners or whatever the case is where they're cooking and everyone's happy to see them and they're making everyone feel good and blah, blah. The little kids, the grandkids will sit on their lap and X, Y, and Z. So obviously that role, you recognize it, was very prominent back in the days. And in addition to that, the longer you were alive as the woman, that role expanded and got larger as you went from a mom and a wife to a grandma. That role expanded because now not only did you give support to everyone below you, you taught your daughter how to give emotional support to the rest of the family as well, how to be that same thing you were, and expand on that. So it was a very big and important role. It's just interesting to look, like I said, under the microscope and see how that role has flipped now, where those roles are no longer there. And not only that, but most women do not want to take up that role. They feel that there's no need to be that role, not realizing how important it is. And it's actually very important for the dynamic of a healthy relationship and household. With that being said, you guys, as always, like, share, comment, subscribe. If you guys want to create a dialogue of this, put your comments down below. Let's start a chat on it. What are your thoughts? How do you feel about that? Do you think this is the case? Do you think it's not the case? Is there any women who view the channel? Let me know. Do you agree with that? Do you not agree with that? How do you feel about that? And be safe. I'll catch you guys in the next video.